Welcome to another episode of the Iconist Podcast. We're gonna be talking about Spider-Man. Yeah, I just said it simple enough. Yeah. No. Yeah. Spider-Man, but something a little unique. Spider-Man, Legend of the Spider Clan. What? Spider-Man, Legend of the Spider Clan.
Roll the credits. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Iconist Podcast. Once again, on your side here is I'm very 3D, and I'm sitting here with
Rod C.
Indeed. And we are on our series today. We read and we're going to talk about Spider-Man Legend of the Spider Clan. Now, these are a series that we started about what we read. And so don't ask us the worth of the book, ask us the worth of the story. And this is what we're talking about. We're not going to get into price points and anything like that. But these are things I think are fun to add into your long boxes, your collections to read and enjoy the story. So I know Spider-Man Brand New Day is on its way and it's coming out soon enough, and the trailers are dropping and everyone's excited for it. And we too are excited for it. But of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse is on its way too with that third installment. So looking forward to that. In there, they brought in a lot of other different variants of Spider-Man, different versions of Spider-Man in the universes. And I can't even forget to mention on Amazon Prime, for those who have it or wherever you're going to watch it, there is Spider-Noir that's coming out with Nicolas Cage, right? So it's going to be a heavy year with the webs and cobwebs coming our way. All right, here we go. So we wanted to touch on one that's a little bit lesser known. So I'm not sure if any of you read or before or heard about it. It used to be a thing called the Mangaverse. Marvel Mangaverse. So the Marvel Mangaverse, this was a project that was started a little bit experimental. So keep in mind, this happened back in the early 2000s, and it kind of came to fruition because Marvel just came out of bankruptcy. So Marvel was about to be bankrupt. They're about to close their doors, Chapter 11, the whole thing. And then Wesley Snipes did Blade. And all of the creators, Stanley, everyone else said the success, because of the success of Blade, it brought in that revenue back into Marvel and it saved them from declaring bankruptcy. So now moving into that late 1990s, early 2000s, anime and manga was really making a big move on North American shores, and Marvel wanted to capture on that. So they kind of started this project on the every fifth fifth month or fifth week project, as they called it internally, fifth week project, meaning there were certain months throughout the year that would have 5 Wednesdays instead of 4. So this is where they started launching these books and putting it out. So they started the Marvel Mangaverse to capture all those readers and watchers of anime or manga to bring them over, and they took their classic, the characters we knew, and put them into that style. Now, the one that stands out to me was Spider-Man Legend of the Spider Clan. So it's still Peter Parker, it's still Aunt May, it's still Uncle Ben, but instead of Peter being bitten by a radioactive spider in this universe, he is a ninja. The Spider Clan is a group of ninjas, and Peter was being trained by his sensei, Uncle Ben. Right. Okay. And Aunt May. And they tied it together. So it was only 5 issues, and those 5 issues were put together by uh uh Care Andrews and Scotty Young. That team was dynamic, and Scotty Young was really getting into that big eye phase. So the art style was cool. And their take was, we're gonna make the characters younger. So at the point, they put him back in the beginning of high school. They drew Peter very small, but of course, with Scotty Young's drawings, he drew it really like a manga, right? So the
Yeah.
proportions were a little bit exaggerated with the hands, the feet, the big eyes, and how they do it, but it got you right into the story. The action is really well done. So you see the classic group in there, and of course, as usual, Uncle Ben always passes away in every Spider-Man storyline, but this time he wasn't taken out by a random burglar. It was a rival ninja clan that took him down, the Shadow Clan. And if you look at the Shadow Clan, they all dress in like black costumes. from the waist up that are very similar to Venom. And then they have their main warrior. Okay. So this is how the whole thing kind of comes down to. Spider-Man and the Spider, in the universe, the Legend Clan, the Spider Legend of the Spider Clan. So in there, you see Peter Parker, you got Flash Thompson, you got Harry Osborn, you got Norman Osborn, you got Otto Octavius, who is the teacher at their school, and Jameson is the principal.
My goodness. How the tables have turned. My goodness.
Right? Right? Like now, for anyone that's a Spider-Man fan, I think this is definitely worth reading. Keep in mind, this is in a different universe. I think it was universe is called 2301, that universe. And this book came and made its debut in March of 2002.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool. So that was how this thing starts off. Uh, and it's a lot more mysticism. So instead of spider sense, he still has it, but it's more like he gets into a meditative state and he uses his senses at a heightened ability. So Peter
Mhm.
is wants to go out for revenge for the people that kind of got rid of Uncle Ben. They want to he wants to carry on, but his Aunt May doesn't want him to carry on, because she's lost her uncle, she's lost Peter's parents. She doesn't want
Right.
to lose Peter either. And Peter's kind of, yeah, may I promise. But then, of course, Peter makes a costume. Now, of course, you can probably see versions of costume depending on the video games you play. You can find a skin for this to put on. So it's like a short sleeve, tight shirt with Spider-Man. He's got his hands are all wrapped up, and he's got those climbing spike blades underneath, and that's how he gets around at it, and it deals with a lot of magic. So we get some interesting takes on characters. So takes in this 5-issue miniseries is Daredevil shows up
Hmm.
as a demon hunter
Devil, Devil
or
Hunter.
devil hunter. Thank you, thank you. Uh, Felicia Hardy's in there,
Yep.
and she shows up human at first, and then you realize she's kind of possessed, and then she kind of transitions into a cybernetic
So,
bionic black cat.
hmm.
Uh, Fun read. So total redesign, and that's where this whole cultural shift happened, right? It was like I said, it was like the 2000s anime boom. Uh and that gave them the experimental freedom for the fifth week event, as they would call it. And this is why the two creators kind of got into it. And they still wanted to give homage to Stan Lee, Steve Ditko throughout the storytelling with this. So I don't got to get too much, and you could definitely find this as a
Hmm.
trade. Um, I know now. Keep in mind, I know I had this conversation with Rod earlier. There's manga Spider-Man,
Yes.
and then there's Marvel Mangaverse. Two different things. Who, if you do the Google search for manga Spider-Man, you're going to get a different Spider-Man. You're going to get it drawn in black and white, and that was what was put over in Japan. You're not going to get, you know,
Hmm.
the one we're talking about in that universe. And I think that's what's interesting. So in their key elements, of course, who you hear mentioned, as I said, if there's Daredevil, they mention Elektra. You see Peter's parents.
Hmm.
You get a version of Venom
Yep.
with the Shadow Clan, right? So Daredevil, Elektra, Shadow Clan, Peter's parents, Black Cat, Kingpin, Green Goblin
Yep.
in there. And Venom is not so much from outer space, but a cursed magic amulet. Hey, if you're dealing with ninjas and magic, this is what you're
We can
going to
accept
get.
that. We can accept that. Yeah.
You totally can accept that. If you're into Shaolin movies,
Yeah.
kung fu movies, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you could totally accept that, right? Ninja Assassin. Come on now, man. So Rod, what was your overall feeling or of this kind of presentation of Spider-Man?
So, like you said, is the manga aspect of it. For one, for me, I like the manga aspect of it. The drawing, the details, the visuals of it was definitely give you that type of manga type of look. Um, you could like there's the different representation. Like there was there's a fight scene, and you can start seeing some other characters in there, like known ones. You'll see the Rhino, and the Rhino. If you think about it, what is the Rhino? As we know, as a Rhino, he's in, his skin is impervious, whatever the case would be. If you remember from uh, the Amazing Spider-Man, when it was the Rhino in the armor suit kind of scenario. So basically, they had this in the Mangaverse of it. Rhino is wearing a suit, basically looking like a mini version of the Juggernaut type of setup.
Yes.
There was Electro.
Yep.
He had a mask, whatever the case be, and the mask really looked like the old school version of Electro with the yellow faceplate kind of thing. But it was, again, this is manga, so it's, instead of being like, oh, it's like so, it's over exaggerated, and it just looks like crazy. Looks good. Barry talked about Venom. Venom would just look like a big hulking guy, a big hulking guy, and just like it was fun. So these are the nice little touches and the nuances that you kind of showing the both worlds, a little touch of both worlds, and what we expect and what we known with Spider-Man and Spider-Man lore into a Mangaverse kind of environment. Um, Again, Peter being young, being small, and they definitely emphasize on that. So you're seeing like he's a young individual, and I will just say this honestly, it was cute in the sense because I'm gonna say Peter was looking small and very just small and frail per se compared to the juggernaut of a size of Venom, the juggernaut of size of Matt Murdock, like basically the
Yes.
Daredevil, Devil Hunter in that regard. Devil Hunter was, taller and skinnier type of scenario. But then you flip over to Uncle Ben, Sensei Ben, and Aunt May. They were in the traditional Aunt May. She was in her traditional type of drawn out like an elderly mother, and it was just like, oh, that's so cute. That was just cute. And Sensei Uncle Ben is looking at me, is reminding me from Oro. I mean, um, oh my gosh, I just went blind from Avatar. Um, Leading to the Vine. My gosh, I just went Oro. Oh my gosh,
Gray matter gray.
gray matter is graying, brother. Well, we know the. Oh, anyways, you'll see it, and you'll see the representation. It's gonna come to me just before the show ends. I'll tell you that right now.
Of course. Of
Um,
course.
but yeah, no, but the whole book is a five-part series, and again, like Barry said, to start off with the Mangaverse, Marvel Mangaverse, and during that time they had individual for other characters as well, and then they went into this 5 episode um release. So yeah, I would definitely say you will enjoy it. I enjoyed it. It was a nice easy read, but definitely explore different aspects of the lore of the ninja clan type of mindset, and what you would expect in 2002, like Barry said, just coming out of, they're just trying to get their feet wet back into everything. It's a good run. I'll leave that at
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, it's like what ninjas can run around New York. Well, I would have loved to seen a
Listen.
little bit more if they do another series on it where they actually bring in the hand because the hand wasn't in there. And if you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles running around in sewers,
Aha.
right,
Aha.
and fighting
Yeah.
Shredder, then this would have been a cool crossover. So I definitely will say this with everybody. One, it's a fun read, easy read. Go to your local comic book stores, pick it up, try to find the trade paperback wherever you can find it and order it, get it added to your collection. You will not be disappointed in reading these books. On top of
Mm-mm.
it, you would see the similarities with other properties that have come out that with this whole thing. So if you like ninjas, you like Spider-Man, and you want to see, how different takes on the classic heroes that we know. It is one definitely to add to your long boxes. And I'll even go so far is that I really wish two things would have happened when this came out. That Marvel would have turned around and put out, maybe they did, and maybe I overlooked it, but put out like figures of the whole cast, right? That you see in there, right?
Mm.
From
Mhm,
Venom,
mhm,
from
mhm.
Peter. to the the Aunt May and Uncle, right? Like the whole, maybe some, give us some actual action figures from that. Give us something, especially that they're coming up with two properties, IPs coming out for Spider-Man this year in 2026. It would be nice to see them kind of go and do a whole Spider-Man day and bring that out. And secondly, Marvel's always looking for projects to do, just like how we see with Warner Brothers with Batman. They put out like Batman Ninja and Batman Aztec, and give me something like this. I think they're on the right track, but in the same art style, give us a one shot mini series, on Disney Plus of Spider-Man: Legend of the Spider Clan, and show people how cool it is, or put it as a movie that we can add into our own personal collections. All right, then. So, any last words, Rod, before we wrap it up?
No, listen, you'll be very intrigued, and you'll like what you see. Again, the visual aspect of it, the representation of, even like saying the Green Goblin. It's very, you can recognize when you see it, like, oh, that's a manga version, and you're like, you'll give the golf clap, like, touche, very good, very good. You'll enjoy it. Trust and believe. Check it out. Don't tell, don't be a stranger. Let your friends know about it. Anybody who's interested in Spider-Man, I think they would enjoy this read. Just say.
100%. And the fact that a Spider-Man falls into using all the totems. So, Spider-Man's a totem of a spider. As you mentioned before, Rhino is a totem, Vulture is a totem. Those things work, right? Spider Clan, Vulture Clan, Rhino Clan. Like, it just automatically so easy to translate. And then the creators behind it made a really great job. So, on this note, I'll remember we have a Patreon page, and remember we have a coffee page. So feel free to check out either one. We greatly appreciate it. You'd help us out a lot. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. Don't let the show be a secret. And this whole world was started by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination, just like these creators did to put in a different review. So keep on reading, and we will talk to you soon enough. Spider Day, I'm out.